We've established that 1986 is the major divergence point in Generation 1. After the events of the theatrical Transformers movie, it's a little bit of a free-for-all. There's the Sunbow cartoon, the Marvel comics, the Marvel UK weeklies. There's a lot of different story paths, and one of those is the Japanese G1 continuity. While Sunbow dropped the ball with the very lackluster Rebirth finale, Japan kept it alive with several exclusive series. There's the Headmaster, Super God Master Force, Victory, and the Zone OVA. All of these series have unique interpretations of established characters, as well as completely new ones. Now, back in the day, characters like God Jinrai, Deathsaurus, and Starsaber were regulated to hushed whispers between hardcore Transformer superfans, as well as Western toy dealers who would go to Japan. But now, with the magic of the interwebs, Transformers fans living in the 21st century have a lot more access and knowledge about these previously region-locked characters, and a rising star and fan favorite is the Autobot Headmaster medic, Minerva. Released in 2022, this is the Walgreens exclusive Generations Legacy Minerva. I guess it makes sense that the Nurse Robo was an exclusive to a pharmacy convenience store chain in the United States. The figure is a retool, repaint of the Elita 1 figure released in the same year. I never picked up that Elita because the sculpt and design didn't suit how I pictured the character. It didn't really communicate the Rebel of Generation 1, nor the Glamazon of the original IDW continuity. In my opinion, the softer shapes and more delicate frame fit the more demure Minerva better. The tooling and sculpted detail of this design really pop with the fantastic white and pink color scheme. It's a high contrast deco that makes her very visually impactful, considering a lot of these details were washed out in the original Elita 1 release. The figure includes two pretty large rifles. Both are actually cast in translucent plastic, with the black painted rifle based off of her original Generation 1 toy, and the other rifle based off of Elita 1's gun from the cancelled Legacy animated series. Pretty weird artifact of pre-production. Overall, she does a really fantastic job of translating the original Super God Master Force design into the contemporary Transformers style. But there is one element missing. She's no longer a headmaster. When you compare her to the previous generation style headmasters from Titan's Return, her head sculpt is a pretty similar size and aesthetic to the Titan Master Headmaster minifigures. I'm sure the reason she's no longer a headmaster is because tooling a new head, as well as a cockpit seat for the vehicle, would have blown the budget out of the water. Now, going into her vehicle mode, I really don't like it. It's a pretty messy alt mode. The original Super God Master Force Minerva was a repaint of Nightbeat, and as such, she was a Porsche. Obviously, a Porsche is not any kind of emergency vehicle, but they dressed it up by slapping some red crosses on there. It's fine. In contrast, Minerva's Legacy vehicle mode carries over some of the small elements of the Porsche, but it just results in this clunky and chunky lumpin' mess of a car. It kind of looks like Benny the Cab from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and I've honestly really never liked Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So you can kind of write it off as a Cybertronian or space car alt mode, but it just doesn't work. It could be worse though, and that is what we call foreshadowing. So we're talking about Minerva in fiction, and she's a little odd to discuss. Unlike a lot of the headmasters in the original Japanese continuity, she is not a diminutive Cybertronian with a trans-Tector body. Instead, she's a human working for the Earth Defense Force and defending the planet from Decepticon and alien threats. Virtually speaking, Minerva is the combat medic for the Autobot team. If you want to put it in RPG terms, she is the group's healer and support. Essentially, she's there to help out with crowd control and environmental rescue, though she will get into the battle if need be. Now, painting with a very, very broad brush here, the premise of Super God Master Force is we have a team of rookie combat pilots, and they have to rise through the ranks while proving their courage and defeating the big bad. Super God Master Force is pretty much a standard mecha anime, it just happens to be a Transformers story. The series concludes with confrontation between God Jinrai, the leader of our rookie team, and Devil Z, a cosmic horror who's been manipulating the Decepticons. Once he is defeated, an energy is released which affects all of our robots. The human cast is separated from their mecha, and everybody, except the ones who died, get a happily ever after. And from that point on, the lifeless trans sectors get to become real Transformers, joining their Autobot and Decepticon comrades in new adventures across the universe.
I have to go now. My planet needs me.
After that, the robot Minerva just kind of becomes a wallflower and sticks to the background in the other series. She hasn't really gotten much of a spotlight outside of this. In the modern day, she did appear as a supporting character in the IDW Reboot comics. I wasn't a fan of the rebooted continuity. It was very dry and dull, and I didn't read the Tread and Circuits miniseries, so it's TF Wiki to the rescue once again. Gotta say, straight up, not really a fan of this lineup of wreckers, but the long and short is that this team of Autobot specialists are investigating a terrorist cell infiltrating and targeting the Speedia 500, an annual event on the planet Velocitron to determine its Senate leader. You gotta determine your leader by way of a sports competition. That's how Michael Jordan became head of the United States Sports Industrial Complex.
Stop it. Get some help.
So anyway, the Wreckers are keeping an eye on Knockout, an Decepticon who is very literally in this political race, as well as an insurgent group called Mayhem, short for the Mayhem Attack Squad. Gotta love those cheeky Marvel UK references. Now, the Wreckers totally botched this. They failed their mission to prevent Knockout from winning the race, and Minerva is blamed for an impromptu terrorist attack committed by Mayhem. She is arrested for a crime she didn't commit. The Wreckers get called out to a new mission, and they have to leave Minerva behind, but they hope the system will prove Minerva as the innocent party. But it turns out, the fix was in. Knockout and the Mayhem Attack Squad were in cahoots, and Minerva is left holding the bag as the patsy. Dang.
This is Democracy Manifest. What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal?
The one time she gets the spotlight, she gets totally shafted. It's kind of a bummer. Well, look, Minerva might not be the end-all be-all main character, but she's a pretty solid side character. She helps fill out the Autobot ranks, adds a lot of character and flavor to any display, and genuinely is just a very striking and eye-catching presence amongst any collection. It's nice to see the Japanese G1 continuity getting a lot more love in the Western market. I know Minerva is not the only Japanese G1 character to make her way over here. There's Galaxy Shuttle, Deathsaurus, and Victory Leo. So hopefully it's just the start of a new trend expanding the G1 universe.